bit more of a lead, but here comes another fight.
Oh, there's a flare going down. All 6 members of the game are going at it. The first member goes down. The Fortress is going to be the first one down. Xenotech goes down as well, and so does the Black Feather. Uni is looking for the ace. He's going after Josh. He is going to chase. Josh has nowhere to go, but he's using the forward brush, trying to kite as best as he can. The Stray Strike comes out. Uni is trying to his best to... Who's gonna get it? Oh my gosh, that was so close. Uni does have the backup of El Risco now, and the Ardent is gonna go into Afterburn, takes her out, and it is not gonna be an ace, but that is gonna be 3 for 1 to the side of Noble Esports. I'm just confusing these teams over and over again.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice play by Josh to not only survive to avoid the ace, but actually came extremely close to taking down Uni as well. If just a couple more shots that forward barrage had connected, would have been able to answer that kill. But unfortunately for Team Smurf, it was all 3 of them going down at the end of the day, and they're starting to slowly fall behind. The gold lead is up about 1,500 in favor of Noble, and there goes a gauntlet to start off another fight. But Uni has to immediately afterburn out of there, so nothing really going to be accomplished off of that one, as Noble were looking to go aggressive, but maybe went a bit too aggressive.
Absolutely here. All 6 members are in the lane right now. Glaive is going to be the first one back to his farm. Oh, nope, he's going to go ahead and buy, but a flare does spot him out. A second flare from Uni comes out, and Uni needs to be careful here. He's here by himself. It's a 2v1, but here comes the other members of Noble Esports. The Vanguard comes forward, boosting Uni forward. There's the Afterburn going after Josh. It's not going to land, and looks like Noble is not done yet. Oh, the Adagio is nowhere to be found though. Xenotech gets there a little bit too late. The Glaive is already down. There comes the ultimate from Adagio. The Fortress does go down as well. That's 2 kills for the side of Noble Esports. They're looking for the ace again. Another favorable fight for them, but they are chasing the sky once again. Deja Vu trying to get away. Is Josh going to be able to put out the damage that he needs? And no, he goes down. But once again, not an ace, but another great fight going over to the side of Noble Esports. 3 kills for 1 death, and they're going to be going after the gold mine.
Yeah, that was such a good fight for Noble. It looked initially like it was actually going to be... Oh, actually, hold on. Is Bowman going to get the steal? He's actually just looking for the fight. Instead of going for the gold mine steal, he gets 1 kill. But he could have definitely tried to take the gold mine. A bit of a mistake there. He is going to go down, and now a trendy name is trying to escape. But Uni doesn't have that afterburn up just yet, so they do back off. But so much of this jungle is being stolen away by Noble, as well as that gold mine going over. A nice death from above is going to try and stall out this attack, but it's just not enough. El Riesgo and Uni going to get that gauntlet down, which will secure yet another kill for Noble Esports. And Uni is just going absolutely crazy on this Glaive. 5-2-6 and 4-1-8 for El Riesgo on this Arden. They are playing so well together. And then, of course, when Xenotech is there for that buff, he's able to just help output so much damage. And right now, it looks like while Team Smurf were... I like the fact that they were trying to be really aggressive early on. They were trading blows really well in the first few minutes of the game. It's definitely starting to look like Noble Esports is taking over a bit.
This buff comp, you know, it's just been so strong as of late. And Xenotech buffing the Glaive, and when the Glaive afterburns in, he just does so much AoE damage to all members of Team Smurf. And this is going to be another fight though. Noble Esports is going for that turret, but it might be a little bit... Whoa, look at that damage coming out on WS Bowman, and he's already down below half health just from a couple hits from the buffed Glaive. And this is what I'm talking about, the buff Glaive from Adagio just doing so much damage. You know, Smurf has to just be very, very careful here.
Yeah, trendy name has been falling really far behind on this fortress. He doesn't even have the Fountain of Renewal yet, but oh my goodness, Noble does
just
it.
Deleted.
So ridiculously hard. They get 1 kill into the turret. Josh is trying to escape, and he's not going to be able to. The first turret is going to fall as well. 15-7 now on kills for Xenotech and the rest of Noble Esports. The gold lead has skyrocketed up to about 4,000 in their favor as well. Bowman in a trendy name, gonna try and stop the second turret from going down, but they aren't able to get there fast enough. Now El Riesgo just drops down the gauntlet. Xenotech buffing him up, some good damage onto a trendy name, and a trendy name is now going to be in a world of trouble. He does fall. Josh is here to try and answer with Bowman. They get one. Can they get the kill onto Riesgo? Will Riesgo be able to do this? Riesgo gets one, and now Uni has joined the fray again as well. And he's just going to afterburn Josh into the wall, and those big crits start coming out. But now he's going to have trouble chasing. The forward barrage doing a good amount of damage, but Josh is on the run, and he's heading towards the wrong side of the map.
Oh, nice reflex block.
Damage down, but those crits are just massive. Josh actually manages to get one, but El Riesgo finally getting that shut down to finish things off. And 18-9, the kills are doubled up now for Noble Esports.
This is a very, very bloody game. We are only 11 minutes into the game right now. We already have 9 to 18 kills on the map. Both teams are just really wanting to fight, and one thing that I want to point out for Noble Esports, something that they're doing a great job at, is every time they get an advantage, they're going into the jungle of Team Smurf, taking their farm, and a lot of that gold difference is coming from that farm difference, and about a 6,000 gold lead now at not even 12 minutes of the game, and this is going to be even a bigger gold lead after this gold mine gets taken.
Yeah, not only is the farm in their favor. Looking at the junglers, it's 44 to 57, 113 to 87 on the two laners. They've also gotten both gold mines that have gone down this game, and they have 2 turrets in their favor, and that is all amounting to a 6,000 gold lead for the side of Noble Esports. They are in complete control right now, and while this composition from Team Smurf does scale up pretty well into the late game, Blackfeather is arguably one of the strongest heroes in the late game. They're so far behind right now, and Glaive Adagio scales just as well. As you look at that damage, the gauntlet going down, they're under the turret again, but they just do not care.
Oh, man.
A nice death from above doesn't even stall them as they are just diving on. Bowman going to get afterburned away from his base. Will it be enough for the kill? No,
quite.
He does get to safety. But this does mean that it will be the 3rd turret of the game for Noble, and they may look for even more, but this is going to get risky as the respawns are coming in and they do back out.
Even after that, taking down 2 members of Team Smurf and taking down the turret, they're all still relatively healthy. They don't need to back up here. They don't need to run. And if Team Smurf tries to chase, Noble Esports can just turn around and just fight again.
Yeah, that's the big problem. I mean, they would be 2v3 right now because Xenotech did recall back to base. However, he's going to be catching up to them pretty soon after he actually decides to farm up the jungle, knowing that they're safe. So again, just huge lead now being built up by Noble Esports. 20-9 on the kills. The gold lead is up over 8,000. And just when Bloodstrong looks like they want to try and push a turret,
there's
immediately going in is the side of Noble, getting an afterburn onto Josh. Josh is getting so low, but he's still alive.
Josh is doing a good job cutting here. He got taken out to half by 1 hit from Uni. Uni's going back in after Josh. Another stun goes down, but all members of Team Smurf are just running for their lives. They're running all the way into their base. They can't do anything about it. They're all very, very low, and Noble Esports is still full health. They're not going to be too greedy, though. They're going to play this safe, and they're just going to go through the jungle of Team Smurf, taking everything that they can, but they might also be looking for a sneak attack here, setting a trap, and here comes Fortress.
They're going to be using these flares to try and spot out Noble, but they haven't seen them yet.
Oh, there's a flare!
They're going to be getting right into that bush. There's a huge gauntlet going to lock up Trendy Name and Bowman, and then the afterburn going in on top of that takes down 2 of them. It's just Josh left. He should have enough move speed to get onto the base and heal up, but it is now 1v3, and Noble are just going to look to end this here as they go in onto the first turret. No minions in sight, but it doesn't matter. The turret goes down so quickly, but they are once again going to back off. Kraken is about to come up in a few seconds. You have to assume that that's what they're going to make a beeline towards, because really, Bloodstrong, their only hope would be a steal of this objective and then trying to fight afterwards. But even that is going to be such a tall task as the infusions are now coming out for Noble.
I mean, almost a 10,000 gold lead at 15 minutes. This Kraken's going to go down so quickly. I think all members of Noble are full on their offensive items, and this Kraken's getting absolutely melted. I don't think there's any way that Team Smurf can defend this Kraken. It's going to have to be a miracle defense here. One turret left. We have all level 12 on the side of Noble eSports. WS Bowman is trying to protect the front line by himself, but the Kraken is bearing down. I think Noble might even end before the Kraken even gets there.
Yeah, they very well could, especially if they look for another fight. The infusions were bought by the side of Team Smurf, which will help, but it's not going to be enough. As you just see the damage coming through. Death from above is called down, but it's not in time. They're going to go for this turret. Kraken is still not even in the base, but they do not care. That turret is so low. The crits coming out of Uni are massive. The healing and the buff from Xenotech is going to use that first judgment to finalize the kill for the ace. And at 25-9, 16 and a half minutes, that is going to be Noble eSports taking game number 1 of this best of 3.
You know, I have to say that game was pretty one-sided. However, I thought the game started out pretty good for the side of Team Smurf.
It did. I mean, the early game, which the first 5 minutes or so, did look pretty good for Team Smurf. They were going blow for blow with Noble, but it eventually just got to a point where after those trades, they would lose out on a jungle camp or two. And while it doesn't seem like much to lose out on just one, maybe 2 camps, over time that builds up and that adds up until eventually one team just has a massive lead and is able to win every single fight, and that's exactly what we saw there.
I mean, let's talk about the comps just a little bit. So Skyfeather's a comp that we've seen. It's been popular for a few seasons now, I would say. Sky did receive a small nerf. Crystal Power Sky did receive a small nerf, but still very, very popular. On the other side, the Adagio comp, more and more popular, and Glaive with the slight buff. Definitely one of the main heroes that we see in the ladder now, but that buff comp with Adagio was so strong. I honestly don't think this was a team comp win as much as it was just an outplay. I think Noble eSports rotations were just a lot better, and even early on in the game, just getting that small advantage, taking a couple jungle camps each time. They were a little bit better with the ganks. They were a little bit quicker back to their own jungle farm, and also, to point out in the lane, the Blackfeather versus Adagio. Blackfeather was having a pretty hard time early on CSing against the heavy poke of an Adagio there.
Yeah, I mean, Blackfeather does do pretty well into ranged heroes, typically, because he has that shield and he's able to deal with the harassment. But the problem is when you have then Adagio on the other side, Adagio can just continuously heal up and essentially just out-harass what Blackfeather can deal with. So he was pretty even for the first few minutes. The first few minutes of the game looked very good for Bloodstrong, but at the end of the day, Noble definitely just looked to be the more dominant team. But they will not be able to run that comp again, as we all know. They cannot run Adagio, Arden, or the Glaive for Noble. Meanwhile, on the side of Team Smurf Bloodstrong, they cannot play the Sky, the Blackfeather, or the Fortress this time. So we're going to see at least each team is going to play 3 completely new heroes. And so we'll have to see what they decide to do. Just going to make sure that the players understand that really quick.
Right. Definitely a unique tournament there. So once again, to reiterate, no hero can be repeated. At least on your team, you can play heroes that haven't played on the other side, but the Adagio, definitely a strong pick for Noble, I think, coming out. And, even if the hero is in a different hand, so for example, Xenotech played Adagio, he cannot play Glaive in the next matchup because somebody else on his team already played that Glaive. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Game 2. I'm very, very excited to see what heroes these guys are going to play. And let's jump right in.
Yep, so it is another blind pick. So once again, we're just going to wait for these teams to lock in their selections. And So we'll have to see what they decide to go for. We do have one lock-in very
A
quickly
very quick login.
on the side of Noble, so there was no discussion there. We'll have to see what else they pick. And, you know, the blind pick here will take a little bit longer than most blind picks because of the fact that you have to worry about not only what you think your opponents might play, but also what you want to play and keeping it safe enough for yourself that you can potentially, you know, have your picks for the next game as well. Obviously, for Bloodstrong, they really can't afford to hold anything back. They have to play whatever is their absolute best, because if they lose this, then they just lose the series. So you want to get at least that 1 point, or at least that one game picked up. And we'll have to see. It looks like everyone is now locked in, and this is going to be interesting on the side of Noble.
Right, completely new players, completely new heroes, completely new team comps, and actually, other than Fortress, I don't think any of these heroes were played on either team last game. So almost a completely new set altogether here. We have the Vox Taka Fortress comp coming out for the side of Noble Esports, and the Ringo Rhyme Finn comp coming out of the side of Team Smurf. And the first thing that I see is Rhyme Finn. Now, Rhyme Finn is just scary, at least played in the right hands. And, you know, can you tell us a little bit about why Rhyme Finn is just such a powerful combo?
Well, the main thing is just the fact that it takes forever to kill either of those two. They are both so incredibly tanky and so difficult to kill, but they also both have so much crowd control in their kit, especially if Rhyme goes for that Frostburn. There's so many slows, stuns, and, you know, knockbacks and hooks and all sorts of fun stuff that are there to protect the squishier carry in the Ringo. And it'll be really interesting to see as they go up against the really, really soft team of Noble, Vox, Fortress, and Taka. None of those three are really known as tanks. You have seen Tank Taka in the past be a thing, but I really don't think it's that viable right now. We do see a level 1 fight. It is 3-on-2. El Riesgo getting taken down pretty low, but now Bowman, oh, he goes a little bit too far out of position and gets taken out by Xenotech and Uni. Uni gonna pop that Kaku to go invisible and try and heal up, but it's just not enough. El Riesgo falls as well to Josh's Rhyme, and it's now just Xenotech left. Josh is very low, though. He needs to be careful, but look at that damage.
The fortified health is his only health right now, and this is the power of that Rhyme with the fortified health from the Finn as well, so a double shield there. But here comes Uni. He's going to be going after Josh. A little bit of fortified health there. It's not going to be... Oh, it's going to be enough to keep him alive. And oh my gosh, with just a sliver of health, Josh gets out of there, getting Taka very, very low as well. Completely disengaging that fight. And it looks like Josh is just going to go back to farming, but that was impressive play with Rhyme. Never, never underestimate a Rhyme, even at level 1. He can 1v3 your team if played perfectly.
Yeah, and that's right there just shows how difficult this Rhyme Finn is to deal with in the jungle, because of the fact that it's so difficult to kill them. And not only that, but if you want to kill this Rhyme with the composition that has been picked by Noble, they have to get very close to him to do so. Taka is melee, Fortress is melee, Vox has a very short range, and that's where Rhyme excels. Rhyme wants to be in melee with you.
Oh,
so he's
no!
going to be having a grand old time as Uni comes in, trying to get a sneaky play off, but just gets obliterated as he finds all 3 members of Bloodstrong waiting for him in that brush.
Yeah, face checking in a bush there. Not that smart early on into the game, especially on the enemy side. So he did face check the bush into 3 members of Team Smurf and completely deleted there. Just so much CC coming out, so much early damage as well. He didn't stand the chance. And Xenotech is not going to take any damage. A good job dodging the Winter Spire there. One thing I do want to point out is Taka can outplay a Rhyme just because he has that built-in reflex block, right? He does have that dodge, and if played perfectly, he is able to dodge the roots, and just because of his speed, he can easily dodge the Winter Spire. However, it is not easy to land that Kaiten, or to time it perfectly.
Yeah, it definitely is a difficult task. We'll see if Uni is up for it. The other thing about Taka is Taka is one of those heroes that changes how you play the game fundamentally. There's only a couple heroes that really do that. Actually, have to hold that thought as they are going to be having another fight. Uni getting taken so low, and he is just barely going to make it out alive. But meanwhile, Xenotech is now the next target, taking a lot of damage here. Josh and Trendy Name still rather healthy as that super tanky duo, and Bowman just gonna be reveling in that farm up in the lane. Meanwhile, Uni getting chased down once again.
And here's the bully of Rhyme here. He's going to be stealing farm. Uni is trying to take as much as he can. El Riesco is here to help out. Still, the juicy back camps were taken by Josh, and that's going to be a slight advantage for him. But here's the fight here. Josh is getting very, very low. The fortified health is keeping him alive. He does pop a potion, gets back up in health just a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. He does go down. Uni is going to go for another one. He's going to go for 3 here. He's going after Bone Man. He is getting really, really low. The boots do get popped, but that's not going to be enough. And that's going to be an ace over to the side of Noble Esports. 3 kills onto Uni there. A great job coming back into the game. And this game is, it was tied up, but now with a little bit of farm steal, we do have a 500 gold lead for the side of Noble Esports. A great play there on that Taka.
Yeah, that was a massive outplay there by Uni. Having the movement speed, it was a really smart spire put up by Josh on that retreat, and it would have actually hit, if it had hit Uni on this Taka, it would have given enough fortified health and damage to turn that fight around and very likely win it. But Uni having that heads up and quick reaction time to actually walk out of the spire so that he didn't take the damage, didn't give Ram that fortified health, and was then able to go in for that execute and able to turn around and, like you said, pick up the ace, which was huge for Noble Esports because it meant that they would get that healing and could then go in and steal away those camps. Uni now going to get spotted as he goes in, and that is so much damage. He's going to fall immediately. Goldminer getting involved here, and he's doing damage to Josh and a Trendy Name. They need to be careful because Goldminer is nothing to scoff at this early on. So they do get that 1 kill and back out.
Absolutely, a great trap set there by the side of Team Smurf, all waiting in the enemy tri-bush on the side of Noble Esports, setting a scout trap there to see the Taka as well. Even though Taka was invisible inside his box, he did walk into that 3-man ambush inside that scout trap, and just CC from the stun, CC from the Rhyme, just completely got melted there. A second time that happened this game.
Yeah, and Uni even not letting those early deaths discourage him. He's still going extremely aggressive, despite the fact that they've been able to set up these ambushes. But going back to what I was saying before about how it changes how you have to play fundamentally, especially with the change that was made to the flares, how it actually has a travel time now. It's so incredibly important against the Taka to now be getting scout traps. Scout traps are even more important against him than flares are because flares do have that slight travel time, whereas a scout trap is instant. Once you put it down, you get the vision and you can see him in that nearby radius. A lot of times it does mean that the roamer has to actually rush a contraption or just be spending a ton of money on scout traps throughout the course of the game. And especially for someone like Finn, a contraption isn't the item he wants out of that the banner. He wants to be getting the Warhorn for the extra move speed, but we'll see if he actually goes for it or if he does decide he has to be forced to buy that the contraption. But meanwhile, Josh is taking so much damage. A nice Valkyrie will only get the stuns, and this is Noble in a 2v3 are gonna be picking up all 3 kills. Uni coming in at the last second to secure that final one. The Wolves are having a bit of a spasm on the turret there, but that is another ace for Noble, and it's similar to game number 1 where it was so close and actually looking really good for Team Smurf, but it does just look like Noble is able to outplay them in these team fights once we get into this mid game.
Xenotech was just dishing out so much damage there. He got the resonance on all 3 members of Team Smurf, and just using those basic attacks with the alternating current. He had 2 crystal bits at the time. Just getting all 3 members with that splash. I was actually surprised there. We had a Finn and a Rhyme, which are, they're both very, very tanky heroes, and no broken myth or anything like that on Xenotech yet, but still was able to take all of them down, and then Taka came in with the cleanup. And just as you mentioned, looks like the Finn is building towards that Warhorn. We do have that Stormguard banner and the Oak Heart. Expect to see a Warhorn here, first item for that Finn, and that means he is going to have to invest a lot of money into scout traps, which do cost twice as much as those flares do.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Finn and Rhyme are very tanky and very difficult to kill. However, there's no shield being built on the side of Bloodstrong yet. So Rhyme is relying purely on the fortified health from landing his abilities, which, don't get me wrong, that's a ton of fortified health that he's getting right now, but the abilities still have to land.
Right, it's a big if.
With Taka and Vox, and even Fortress to an extent has that little bit of move speed and ability to jump around, it can be fairly difficult for Rhyme to actually connect with all of his abilities. And meanwhile, on the Finn, all he has is the Warhorn, which it provides some health, but there's no defenses really. It's just health that he's getting from that item and the move speed. So definitely needs to start investing in some shield. Go for that Fountain of Renewal, which I don't like the picking up the Warhorn before Fountain of Renewal on the Finn, or at least before the components for the Fountain. So I'm not a huge fan of a Trendy Names build on this Finn. We'll have to see. Oh, that's a slight engage from Noble, but they do decide to back off. It looked like they might be going for a turret dive, but they did think better of it.
Uni has to be careful here. I'm not sure what he's doing. The bush does get checked by the Winter Spire, but he was here by himself at a 1v3, and looks like Noble Esports wants to fight. They are leading by almost 4,000 gold here, so this is a pretty good time to fight, but they still do not want to take any big risk diving turrets, anything like that. One bad team fight can bring the game back for the side of Team Smurf, and Uni doesn't. Oh, Josh got a little bit too confident there, ran into Uni, gets taken out completely by all three members of Noble Esports, but this is not over yet. The Hellfire Brew comes out, and that's going to be disengaged, but no block, and actually hits two members of Noble Esports, so a little bit more damage than they actually needed to take. Looks like Vox is going to back off, and El Risco and Uni are just going to be content stealing the farm of Team Smurf, and a lead becomes an even bigger lead now at 5,000 gold.
Yeah, there actually is no reflex block yet on the side of Noble, but they just don't need it at the moment, as they've been winning these team fights. On that one, the Hellfire Brew just popped a Fountain of Renewal, and they were all perfectly fine, because they were already disengaging anyway. So they are going to pick up that immense gold payout from the gold miner, giving this lead now up to about 5,000 in their favor, and steadily growing as they continue to farm up the jungle and the lane simultaneously. So they're gonna be once again just looking to build up a huge lead to the point where there's nothing that Bloodstrong can do. However, Uni going way too aggressive underneath that turret does end up going down.
Oh, the hook!
Tech gets pulled in from a great forced accord, but they aren't able to follow up on it as the stun did not connect afterwards. Actually, he doesn't even have the stun available, as that ability is not overdriven yet, but a nice forced accord pulled them in and continued this fight. However, Noble Esports is just doing so much work. They do actually manage to pick up all 3 kills once again, despite it being a 2v3, and that just says a lot about the power of Noble.
Xenotech is just the Vox pick on Xenotech is just a perfect pick against this composition, especially against the Rhyme and the Finn. I mean, I know it was a blind pick, but it almost seemed like, it just worked out perfectly. There's no way you're going to land a Quibble, and there's no way that you're going to land the Winter Spire on Xenotech, and he just gets completely untouched, but El Risco is getting low here. Xenotech's just going to turn around. He doesn't care. He's no fear, no fight. Just fight all day. He's going to go in by himself, and he's actually scaring off the members of Team Smurf by himself. Hellfire Brew does land, which gets Xenotech low enough that he's going to go ahead and back off. Even with backing off, they're just going to go ahead and steal all the farm of Team Smurf again, and the gold lead just gets bigger and bigger, almost an 8,000 gold lead at 13 minutes into the game. This is going to be very, very hard for Team Smurf to come back from.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, looking at the item builds, it's already now a 3-item Vox. With the Alternating Current, Broken Myth, and Eve of Harvest. That is just so much damage coming through, especially when there's almost no shield built on the side of Bloodstrong, and so he's just going to be melting through them. That's exactly what we saw was happening there. Even when he was 1v3, he was just like, you know what? I'll fight this. I have no issues. I've got a little bit of backup behind me, but he's so confident in his damage, especially now that he just picked up a weapon infusion as well to go along with it and just add even further to those basic attacks. They're looking to go for a fight here, but Bloodsong wisely back off as they only have 2 turrets left to defend.
Xenotech just popped his boots there. He wanted to fight 1v3. Uni was nowhere to be found, but he was that confident. And now that all 3 members are here at the front door of Team Smurf, El Rizco with a little BM there, dancing around as that tier 3, I actually can't tell the difference between tier 1, 2, and 3 fortress, but one of the flaming fortresses, a little bit of recall action there.
That is, I believe, 1. It's either 1 or 2. I know it's not 3 because 3 has the 2 extra heads up at the front.
Okay.
That one does not. But I can't really tell the difference between 1 and 2. That's the ones that I can't really tell. But I believe this is actually tier 1, I want to say. But either way, this is once again looking like complete mid to late game dominance from Noble Esports. You know, the early game again looking a little bit shaky. It looked like Team Smurf was making some really good strides early on, but once this mid game came around, once it was all about team fights, that's where Noble was just able to completely take over. Uni just trying to zone the Team Smurf off of this Kraken as it is being taken by his teammates and is secured. So this will very likely be the final push unless Team Smurf can just pull out a massive fight, which, I mean, you never know, with that Finn forced accord could pull them under double turrets, you can get a lot of work done in a fight there, but we'll have to see. It looks like they're gonna back off and look for it, clear out these minions, try and make sure that if they do get a fight, it will be both turrets targeting the members of Noble, but Kraken is coming in now, and here we go.
And that's a full health Kraken, and the force core does not land. The first turret goes down oh so quickly. Noble Esports not even touched. They're all full health, not to mention the Kraken is full health here. This is a 4v3 here with the Kraken, and Xenotech and Uni actually just want some kills just to pad their KDA just a little bit. Xenotech does get hit. Uni dives under the turret fountain and gets taken out. I call it the fountain. Someone's going to give me some hate in chat, but that's going to be the Vein Crystal there. And that is game number 2, also going over to the side of Noble Esports for a 2-0 coming out this series. Quite an exciting game there. Once again, Team Smurf just did such a great job early on. I thought that Noble might have a hard time, but once the game started getting rolling, their team coordination was just better. The Taka came online, the Vox came online, and it got to the point where Rhyme couldn't touch anybody. Everyone on the team was just so fast. Even Fortress, even the support Fortress, with that passive speed boost, Rhyme was completely a non-factor in the game. The Winter Spire never landed. Even none of his abilities could land, not to mention Finn as well.
Yeah, it really seemed like once the movement speed came out from the side of Noble, that was really the turning point. It just early on when they didn't have all that movement speed and all the boots and everything, the abilities were landing, the damage was coming out from the side of Team Smurf, and again, they were looking very good early on, but as soon as those tier 2 boots were finished and this side of Noble was able to start jumping around and sprinting around the fold, the abilities just stopped connecting as frequently and the damage just wasn't there, and we saw what happened. Just Noble Esports end up running away with it and taking the 2-0 series victory, which does mean that they're going to be sitting pretty with 4 points at the top of their group. So congratulations to Noble Esports. Again, they aren't automatically moving on off of that, but seeing as you only play 3 group stage games, you play everyone in your group once, that is a very, very good position to be in, as they are going to be, I believe, if I could find their group, I'm looking at it right now. Where did they go? There it is. They are in Group 7. So Royal Club and Primal Impulse. Royal Club is actually a team that you really cannot overlook either. So that's going to be an exciting group. I do expect it to be Noble and Royal Club making it out of the group, but we will have to see. There's 2 more days of group stages left for these guys, so it's all going to ride on how things go for the next couple games for them. But Noble Esports with that early 4-point advantage.
Right, Team Smurf is not out by any means. This is not a single elimination. This is not a bracket style yet. So this is, I believe, Bloodstrong's first appearance, at least streamed matches. So, they did show a great showing. It was kind of, they had bad luck going up against a powerhouse like Noble Esports.
Yeah.
But, they had a great showing. They're going to be playing some more matches, and they might even still make it out of the group stages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they showed that they have a really strong early game, and there's a lot of teams in Vainglory, and I know that Royal Club is actually one of them that are kind of almost known for not having the best early games, but then turning it on late. And so if Team Smurf Bloodstrong can take advantage of that and take advantage of their strong early game and get themselves far enough ahead in the early stages, then they could potentially snowball a game out far enough so that those teams that are late game powerhouse focused don't get a chance to get themselves into that late game where they try and take over. So as you mentioned, definitely not the end of the road for Team Smurf Bloodstrong. They do still have a chance to make it out of this group, but they are going to be behind the 8 ball, sitting there with 0 points.
There's a lot of interesting strategy that comes in right now. I'm wondering if the other teams are actually watching these games. They're watching the heroes that Noble Esports are playing and the heroes that that Team Smurf was playing, because we only have so many heroes. There are only so many heroes in the game. So we saw that Noble liked to play the Adagio Glaive. We saw that they like to play the Taka Vox. I wonder if other teams are going to try to blind counterpick these compositions, or if you either can blind counterpick them.
Yeah, I mean, it's with it being a blind pick, trying to counterpick it becomes such a massive mind game at that point, because it's essentially you're sitting there, oh, I think that they might pick this, but then you have to worry about the other. But what if they know that we think they're gonna pick that, and you just end up going back and forth. It's such a mental mind game going on that I feel like you really can't even worry about it. Like, just don't worry about what your opponents are going to pick, and just pick what you're comfortable on. Pick what you know that you can win with. But then, of course, you do also have to keep in mind you have to pick. If let's say, for example, your jungler's best hero is Blackfeather. You don't necessarily want to run a comp, just because there are comps where Blackfeather is really strong in the lane. You don't want to necessarily run a comp with Blackfeather in the lane, because you want to still have Blackfeather available for your jungler in a future game. So there's so many things that have to go into thinking about what you want to pick for these blind picks, and that's one of the reasons I really love this unique rule set of limiting the heroes selected to one. Each hero, you can only play them once per match, because of the fact that it does force players to have to use multiple different comps and multiple strategies.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to see what's going to come out of this tournament. We're not done for today. We still have a second match coming up, and that's going to be TSM Team Solo Mid versus the Shadow Legacy. Now,